Yep.
Hi, Scott.
Hey. All right, hello everyone. We'd like to go ahead and get started if you can find a seat. Feel free to come on in if you're in the hallways and grab a chair. So my name is Scott Crisp. I'm the principal of Jackson Hole High School. I'd like to welcome everyone here. I especially would like to welcome our class of 2021 that's here, so we can give them a hand. Class of 2021. Thank you for taking the time on this continued long winter and coming to our auditorium tonight. We're excited that you're here. We have some information to share with you tonight. Our goal is really simple. We really want to encourage a welcoming culture to our incoming students and parents. Those of you who have older siblings here, you understand a lot more about the high school. We also want our students to feel welcome in all capacities in our school, and we're going to give you a chance today to tour some of our classrooms and experience some of our departments. Before we get into today's presentation, I'd first like to recognize our Board of Education members that are here. If you could please stand up. I know some of you don't like that, but please stand. Lots of hard work going into our district, as always, but most importantly, recently. I really want to thank our Board of Education members and superintendent for their work in our recent legislative sessions. That hard work has paid tremendous dividends to allow us to continue to offer the personalized services that we do in Teton County School District. It takes an immense amount of hours to be able to create and give our children what we're able to do in Teton County. And at Jackson Hole High School, we do not take that for granted. So tonight, you're going to hear from me in a few slides to kind of paint the picture of our wonderful high school. This is my 8th year as principal of the high school. I'm very lucky and fortunate to work in this district and for our community. I'm very happy with what I do every day when I come to school working with kids and our faculty. It's just an unbelievable place. And the teachers your children are going to have are just unreal. The amount of hours they put in, the dedication they put in, more than anything, they care. Regardless of what they teach, there are adults in our building that care about your kids. And that's the most important thing. We're a school. We don't make widgets. We don't make a product. We work with people every day. And that is some of the hardest work you can imagine, especially at the high school level. So a couple introductions. You know me. Daniel Abraham, if he can raise his hand. Dan is the assistant principal here at the high school. He's sitting in the center to put a name with a face. Mike Hansen is in the front here. He is our activities director. And Sarah Tinney, I don't know where Sarah is. She is our dean of students. I don't know if she's in the auditorium right now. She might be out assisting parents. I'm going to go through some very important information tonight. And then we're going to segue. You're going to stop listening to me, and we're going to set you out into our school. I do ask that students, we asked you to bring your iPads tonight. If you can kind of turn those down, turn them over, turn your phones off, turn all the stuff off for a minute. And just give me your attention as we go through some slides. But at the end of this, we will transition and ask that you use your devices, your iPads, in a way that's a little bit more interactive so you can understand our school more. So up here is really the backbone and core of our school. And for a lot of you earning credits, it's exactly what you did in school as parents. But it is the roadmap for your children. And it's important that as parents you take an active role in understanding what your child will be forecasting for. You're going to hear the word forecasting a lot. Forecasting means the selection process of how you pick your courses. Your courses that you'll be enrolled in, your students' courses. This is our requirements as a school. We're very proud that we have very high standards at Jacksonville High School for graduation. It makes us better as a school. It makes your students better as people to have higher standards compared to a lot of schools. And we're very fortunate to be able to offer so many different programs that we're going to talk about tonight. From language arts to math, science, social studies, phys ed, fine and performing arts, career in tech, and other electives which include foreign language. Each student is required to earn 25.5 credits minimum to graduate. That baseline minimum we've set as a standard in our school also will qualify a lot of students for state scholarships called Hathaway. For a number of you who have older siblings, again in the high school, you've heard of Hathaway, you know of Hathaway. But if you haven't, the state of Wyoming, we are still very fortunate to have a state-sponsored scholarship for students if they choose to go to a Wyoming school. For example, if a student goes to the University of Wyoming, the state will actually provide them some financial resources, not a loan, but a scholarship if they meet certain requirements. We line our graduation requirements up with Hathaway to make it really simple for all of our students. Part of the high school experience is getting really clear. And students, this is where we need your attention. Because at the end of the day, the students in the room, we're going to ask that you really start owning your education beyond anything you've done before, controlling your four-year plan, understanding what credits you need. It's that time that you start taking that on. That's what high school should be preparing you to do. So students in the auditorium tonight, we're going to really start talking directly to you now in terms of what you need to be preparing for. A four-year plan is part of it, and your school counselors work with you with that individually. For high school freshmen, this is generally the course selections that most students pick from. Every student is in an English class. Every student is in a math class. Every student is in advanced earth science. Every student is in a form of U.S. history. And then every student is in one of our either strength and conditioning classes or PE wellness class. There's also some electives that come into play, like foreign language, intro to engineering, fabrication lab, art classes. The list goes on. And as I opened, we are super fortunate here to be able to offer what we do. For us, it's not about what we offer. It's about you having to make a decision on what you want to take, which can be difficult because of the amount of choices. Here are some of the names of the classes that you'll see as an incoming freshman that you'll be selecting. And again, we will sit down with each family individually and talk to you about these choices before you turn in that required forecasting form. So it's not all right now. What I'm sharing with you tonight is just a quick overview. But again, you will meet with us individually to be able to go through this one on a case-by-case basis. So these are some of the electives. Now, as a student, you take 7 courses at the high school, 7 credits a year, just to keep it simple. After you take your cores, your histories, your maths, your science, your social studies, Englishes, after you get your cores complete, then you start looking at electives. And many of you already kind of know what you want to do. Whether you're in music, whether you're focused on engineering, whether you're focused on foreign language, some of these focuses will start coming into play, and we'll help you with that based off your interests. We're also a high school that prides itself on our advanced placement program. So we're a high school of approximately 700. And there is no secret that we are a growing high school, which in my opinion is a great place to be. I think if you talk to other schools in the state right now, or even nationally that have declining enrollments, the environment and culture is very different. When you're growing and you have a healthy school, you have more options and you have more programming options. And we're in that position as we speak. Again, very fortunate in Teton County. AP is a big part of our programming. AP classes, 90% of them are for grade 11 and 12, the majority 11 and 12. We have several sophomores, though, that take a couple of these, depending on where they are in their studies. But one thing we're very clear on and serious about in the high school is, even if maybe you're not from that AP background, we encourage every student to put their toes into at least 1 or 2 AP courses. Every student. So those students that are looking at me right now going, there's no way I'm taking an AP class. We're going to make you take an AP class probably, and you're going to like it because it's the right thing to do. And we have staff that are very accommodating and understand that students come at different levels in AP classes, especially in our social studies department. We have students that put their toes into an AP for the first time ever their junior year, and they have great success. We have students that take 4 or 5 APs in 1 year. And I will stand up here and tell you that I don't know if that's the healthiest thing, but sometimes it's hard to talk that student out of it. And some of those students are you. At the end of the day, we know that taking an advanced class better prepares you for the next level. The experience itself will prepare you. We offer quite a few, and it's amazing we can offer this many for such a small school that we are, because at the end of the day, we are a small high school. 700 students is a small comprehensive high school. To offer this many unique courses, the older you get in our school, is a great advantage that we have. So students, this is where, again, I'm going to call for your attention, because this is something called a transcript. A transcript is something that your grades will go on at the semester mark in January and at the end of the year in June. This is not just Power School, kind of casually looking online, seeing if someone turned work in, what's the grade. This is an official transcript. This is what your grades will go on when you go on to the next level in college, which we want everyone to do. Some post-secondary experience. Everyone in this room. This is what they're going to get. They're going to have a list of classes, and you're going to have a semester 1 and a semester 2, and you're going to have credits. 0.5, 0.5. Every one of our classes at Jackson Hole High School equals 1 credit. So the first semester is 0.5, the second semester is 0.5. Equals 1.0. Every class. It is broken into 2 chunks though, so notice Spanish 1 up here. You have 0.5 graded transcript, spring semester, graded transcript. So students, this is where we need your attention in this. This doesn't change when this is recorded. This follows you. So from the moment you start school at Jackson Hole High School, and the moment we first record your first grades, that begins your transcript. And that is what carries with you to the next level. So when I put up there grades matter, that's what we're talking about. We need students to understand that we want you to take your studies seriously, we want you to take your grades seriously, and be super proactive with your educators in this building. That's a life skill, no matter what you're good at. Being proactive will only benefit you. At the end of your 4 years, you have more of a transcript that you see in the kind of the top there that has all your courses. That's what your next school that you'll go to will request. This is what we send them. And that is the primary determination of your acceptance at the next level or not. Grades are scored on a GPA scale. Many parents in here had the same scale. A lot of things haven't changed in regards to grading for parents in the room. So a 4.0 is an A, etc. That system has stayed pretty much the same. With grades come opportunities for students. And I'm going to state this very clearly, even though some parents might disagree. There is this thinking sometimes that occurs in our school that a lot of students can't wait to leave Wyoming. And I'm going to speak to you very frankly just based off my experience. A lot of students aren't going anywhere and they want to stay in Wyoming. But there is this thinking that I want to go spread my wings, and that's fantastic. But I would ask all parents and students to please keep this in mind. You never know if you're going to return to Wyoming. And you never know if you're going to want that Hathaway when you do return to Wyoming. I'm not saying it always happens. In fact, I wish more students would stay in Wyoming. But the reality is that in my experience, I have seen a lot of students return due to unforeseen reasons with family, finances, whatever it may be, and want to take advantage of the Hathaway. But maybe in their schooling, they decided the Hathaway wasn't for them because they already knew they were going to go to Florida State where cousin Vinny lived. I'm asking everybody now to please consider every option on the table that our district and state offers you, because this is a phenomenal opportunity and you never know where your life is going to take you. So always prepare for every option that is on the table, regardless of kind of where your thinking may go. This is an example of how much money the state will give you based off grades and an ACT score. It does add up for many families. In the Hathaway, again, we're one of the last states that offer this opportunity. And we also wanted to paint for you kind of a snapshot of some opportunities that we have in the high school beyond grades. We also know that successful students not only study, but also are involved. Activities are a big part of our school. And I'm not just talking about sports. I'm talking about clubs. I'm talking about working after school too. Being involved in something more than class makes a big difference. And most of our students are. Whether it be Model UN, the Key Club, whether it be orchestra or an athletic team like soccer, football, or wrestling, the opportunities that your kids have in this school are incredible. For a lot of our students, it's actually trying to minimize some of those opportunities so they can breathe and have a life. We have a lot of type A's in our community, if you haven't noticed. And our students tend to follow some of that track, and sometimes maybe a little too much. So having a balanced life is a big part of having a healthy student. And I feel like our activities allow for opportunity, but we always want to balance that as well with having a day that you can manage. There's so much to do in this school. You're really going to have to make some choices as you transition into high school. So forecasting is a big piece of my information. I've got a couple slides and I'm going to wrap up. On the walls outside, when you came in today, you signed up for a time perhaps. If you didn't, that's fine. But before you leave tonight, we need you to sign up for a 15-minute conference on those sheets outside the auditorium. You can do it any time before you go. Make sure you do that. That's one important requirement we'd like to have done tonight. For forecasting, we want you to be educated in terms of those choices. So we've created an online interactive program of study guide for you that we'll send to everybody, and you can click through it and see all the courses, the prereqs. It's very clear as opposed to a big, huge document. It's much more interactive for you to go through and understand what that freshman year will look like. And we encourage this. Students, you do this. You click on the link, students. You go through the course catalog. You ask your parents some questions, but take the lead in this. Start owning the courses that you're going to forecast for, because guess who's in those classes? You are. And we want you to be personally invested in that program of studies. All the grad requirements are in our program of study guide. And there's something called a forecasting worksheet, which, can we click on that, Dan? I want everyone to see an example of that. So when you forecast, you're going to see a document like this. And we're going to, again, work with each of you individually with this document. And this is where you start making some selections of courses. The importance of this document can't be understated. When a family or child selects a course, we are very student-centered in our school. Our staffing, our school, our courses are based off student selection, which is the right thing to do. But with that, we need you to take it really seriously, because we develop our school around your forecasting. This is for every grade level. We do the same thing. So as you transition into high school and start selecting different courses, this will create our school for next year. It creates who's teaching the courses. It creates where the course takes place. So please look at this carefully together as a family. The 22nd and 23rd at the bottom of this slide are the 2 nights that are the reminder for you to sign up for out on the sheet. So the sheets already say 22nd and 23rd out there. All you got to do is sign your name and sign a time, and you're good. Remember that time, and then we're going to be reaching out to you as a follow-up as well in order to set up the forecasting session. Okay? Our school counseling department is really the central department for you to be focused on now. Our school counseling department is the heart of our forecasting, and those are the individuals that we'll be working with everyone in this room, including myself and Dan Abraham, as we go through the registration forecasting process. All this information will be given to you. And also, we're recording this tonight on video so we can put this on our website in case a family or a student couldn't make it and would like to hear the same message. Or you want to listen to this again. Your choice. Next. So tonight we're going to run you through what we call a scavenger hunt. And this is how it works. So students, you know what a QR code is. Some of your parents do and don't, but I know the students do. On our departments throughout our school, we're going to have you walk around our school, walk freely, talk to people, say hello. Our departments are represented in each hallway. We have maps out there if you would like to grab a map. But each of your students' iPads should have some things loaded on them. Now, I talked to a few students, and I don't think it happened to a few of you, but most of you have this on your iPads as we speak. You should have a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation that goes with the scavenger hunt, and a QR code reader. So when you go to that department, we're going to ask that you scan the code on the doors. There's a secret code that will come out. You're going to add this code to your slideshow. Again, all on your iPad. Now, the trick here is, too, we want you to take a photo of yourself or something in that room that you're going to. That's going to be our proof that you went. And then at the end, we're going to have you come to the rotunda, and then we're going to check your slides, and we're going to incentivize a little bit. We'll give you some tickets, and we're going to have a fairly significant drawing, and the winners will be announced at the middle school next week. What we'd like for you to do, though, more than anything, everyone, beyond the technology, is to get out into our school and talk to people. The other thing we have for you is activity tables are set up for students and parents to talk to student reps at the tables for clubs and activities and sports. Not every faculty member is here tonight, but many are here to represent their departments. Our whole support staff will be here, including myself, to answer any questions you have. And then we want to make sure that every student on the way out gets their new class of 2021 t-shirt, and parents, we have a pin for you as well for your students, for your kids. Some quick follow-ups that have some specific programming questions that have come up. If your child is in our district dual immersion program, we're going to ask that you stay here and not exit when I'm complete. We have some information for you. And then if your child is in an athletic program that potentially requires an early release, we're going to ask that you report to our Library Media Center at 7:15 for a quick information session on what that will look like. So those are two sort of separate sessions. If those do not concern you, that is fine. These are separate programming questions that we need to address tonight. So again, don't forget this. Please sign up. Sign-ups are right outside the auditorium. That's all I have. Thank you for coming. Have a great night.